Alright, so Agatha All Along has concluded with its two-episode finale, and it's especially with this entire series as a whole, involving witchcraft and trials, with Agatha and her coven embarking on the witch's road, stumbling the Avengers, and how do they pass these trials. Even though I wasn't on board with it at first, and even though it delivered a very good finale, and even though I'm wondering of what's next, and so in this video, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the entire show in general as a whole, and I'm also going to be going over its finale for what I think it's going to be set up next based on everything that they set up from here on out. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so it's on any future videos. But now, let's get into it. And now, first things first, my thoughts on the show in general. But even though I wasn't on board with it in the very beginning, because even with Agatha Harkness having her own show and going back to Westview, but I just really thought it had some good writing in here. I thought with Agatha's character arc, with just being like a witch and now to coming to full power, I mean, Kathryn Hahn really shines in this role, and even recruiting her coven and embarking on the Witcher's Road and gathering up Teen and who is a Billy Maximoff. But even though just with the entire show in general, I thought it was a very good, pleasant show. I thought this delivered great character arcs, good character development, and I'm pretty sure this is unlike any MCU show that we've witnessed. But even though they've laid out hints and reveals, even though it keeps us wondering for what's next. But you know, I liked how each episode led from a trial to something that big of a reveal, and I guess I was somehow on board with it. But even though it started to pick up after 5 or 6 episodes in general, in my opinion. But it just delivered on such good writing. But even though I was hesitant on it at first, but this did deliver a good storytelling, especially from Jack Schaefer. But just with the entire show, I feel like this was a very good show. But this is still a solid rating in my book. But I just like if every character's moment they get to shine in this series, because I mean I'm pretty sure that this show takes its time, and even throughout all 9 episodes, we really get to learn about them. That's what I truly admire about the show in general, especially with Teen, which I really do like. I like how we explored his background for what he really is. Of course, he is Billy Maximoff, aka Wicked, and just with the fact that we really get to spend time on these characters alone, and that's what I really liked about it. And so with the entire show, that's what I mostly liked about it. It's not like all these crazy cameos and theories. It was just its own contained show about Agatha Harkness, of what she could do as a witch, and that's something that I truly enjoyed about this show. And now that I said that, let's talk about the finale. And now, I like the fact that this was split in 2 parts, and even with episode 8, which I thought was good, but even with episode 9, which I thought was a bit unnecessary, but it was definitely a nice send-off to our main character. But now, even with the finale in general, but I thought it was a nice closure to Agatha, and she definitely has a future after this show. But even for the fact that I was ready for what twists and turns that this show was going to deliver towards the end, because we all know of how it was all going to be unfolded for what was really going on. But trust me, this delivered all of the goodies, especially with Agatha, Teen, and Jennifer, that were all left standing on the Witcher's Road and trying to find the end of it, trying to find the end of the Witcher's Road to see where it leads. I mean, passing their last trial, and especially with Rio, played by Aubrey Plaza, which I thought she nailed the show. She nailed her character, and I thought she delivered all the scares, and especially her character was creepy in some sort of way. But that's what I mostly admire. And you know, I think with the biggest twist here, I think it definitely involves Billy, because he definitely has something to do with this entire show, and that especially as they left their shoes right back to where they started, back to square one. But even though like I thought like if something like cliche was going on here, but I can definitely mostly tell that like for whatever was about to be revealed about Billy, I was here for it. But then no, we see our characters end up in like some sort of like lab place, but it takes place in Agatha's basement. But it just like with the fact with Jennifer that she was going to get her power back, and like I just like if she would have like survived, but even with Agatha and all the power that she has, it is pretty neat. And also with Agatha and Billy's job is just to find his brother Tommy and going inside of his mind and like wow, just even for the fact that how the scene was well written and it was like well acted in like a sort of way that I did not expect, but I thought this delivered on such good writing. And plus, I mean, I think I was definitely rooting for our main characters for whatever they were about to face. And also, I like the fact that with we hear the voices of Wanda and Vision. I think that was taken from the finale. But I just really like that we got a hint of the Scarlet Witch, even though she did not appear in this finale. But there's definitely a future set up for the Scarlet Witch down the line, maybe in like a solo movie. But even though I liked how like they centered on this, like it was like a grounded, contained show without all the crazy stuff happening that might have affected or like took it away from it. But even though after that with Agatha that she passed her last trial, but then we see like a one-on-one fight with Agatha versus Rio, but even like for how her Agatha's character comes to a close, and like even though with Billy Maximoff, aka Wicked, I just definitely love his outfit. I think Marvel and their costume department definitely nailed this outfit. It looks so comic accurate. I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, bravo! It looks so good, and I have a fear like they might do something wrong, but damn, like they nailed the show just right. And like even though like Agatha doing everything that she can to defeat Rio, and like even though I think she got her power back, but then like we see Agatha making the ultimate sacrifice, and we see Agatha and Rio kissing, and like that was like all of the fans wanted. So especially if you enjoy the show, I'm happy for you. But even with Agatha that like she sacrificed herself, and even though with Billy like he is free to go. I mean, that was the whole purpose of this finale. Is that with Agatha, like she surrendered Billy to Rio, or like Rio let Billy go on his way, and that's the stuff that I liked from this finale, which I think. From episode 8, I thought it was like such a nice closure on Agatha, but even towards episode 9, which I'm going to get to in a bit, it really gave us more on the history. But then we see like the most twist to be revealed. It was Billy all along, because we see every object in his room, including for the Ouija board and all the stuff that Agatha and the coven go on when they were embarking on those trials. Like, oh, like Billy made the Witch's Road. I mean, because like even like if you're the son of the Scarlet Witch, like you can basically do anything that you want, and like that line from Agatha.
You're so much like your mother.
And now, even for where we see Billy Maximoff in the future of the MCU, possibly with the Young Avengers, that's what Marvel is definitely most setting up, because I definitely like how Wicked was portrayed in the show with that comic accurate outfit. So his future lies way ahead. I mean, bravo to Joel Locke. I mean, he crushed it. He brought every single bit of his A game to his character. But now, moving on to episode 9, the finale. And I just really liked that we got a background character arc on Agatha, and the fact that we get introduced to her son, Nicholas Scratch. But I actually do enjoy the fact that with Agatha, she really had a son, like a little kid, and they went on adventures together, and with Nicholas Scratch singing a tune. But then even though that like one night that he went with Rio, but then like the morning after that, like he died. But then with Agatha, like she gave him a proper burial. But even though before we found out about this is what even with Wanda and Agatha, they both wanted peace with their children, because even though with Wanda Maximoff and Agatha Harkness, they were both mothers to their children. Like, I mean, they went through a lot, but even though it was a bit unnecessary, but it was definitely a nice background story. It was a nice flashback of her life. I thought it was a great way to end this show, especially learning a lot about Agatha ever since we got introduced to her in WandaVision. But now get to see her full background coming full circle. I think it makes sense. But even though with the ending, with this finale, is that it's especially with Billy, that obviously he created the road, and of course it was Billy all along. But then we see a ghost version of Agatha, and I think this is definitely pulled from the source material, especially with Wanda that was definitely involved. So I'm pretty sure they laying hints for a Scarlet Witch solo movie. But even though they go back to the basement of where it all started, and with Billy trying to control his chaos magic and trying to kill Agatha. But I just really liked how we ended this show with Billy and Agatha going up, but with Billy's brother Tommy, he still has not been found. But with them embarking together, I think they're going to find Tommy, and that's going to definitely set up Vision Quest, because that's the next thing coming after this with the 3-part trilogy. First it was WandaVision, then Agatha All Along, and then Vision Quest. So I'm very curious and intrigued to see where this all leads up, and hopefully that we'll get to see Tommy. But I think what we're definitely getting at here is that I think with this entire show in general, which I kind of liked, and I thought it was such good writing, and it definitely delivered on good characters, good storytelling, and not all these big crazy things affecting it, especially with cameos and Mephisto, or the Scarlet Witch cameos, or blah blah blah. But it definitely delivered on stuff that fans had technically enjoyed. I think so. I was a little hesitant at first, but damn, did this deliver such a good ending, especially for Agatha and Billy, and I can't wait to see what's next for them. And one last thing that I will say here is I enjoyed Agatha All Along. I thought it was a very good and interesting show to learn about witchcraft, the Witch's Road, and all these trials that Agatha and her coven embark on. I mean, every episode seems like a mystery of what was next, trying to theorize on what was going to happen, who was going to show up, and I think I definitely liked the twists and reveals that the show delivered. I mean, I think bravo to Jack Schaefer. I mean, she crushed this show, and I think I'm excited from where this leads. I'm excited to see more, and I mean, Agatha Harkness, I definitely liked her arc, especially with these characters gave such a great performance. I think it was such good development, and yeah, I definitely give the show a solid rating. But again, it was definitely a fun show for the spooky season, and I can't wait to see for what is next from here on out. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below, and what your thoughts on the 2-episode finale of Agatha All Along, and what your thoughts on the entire show in general, if you enjoyed it. Just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to notifications about video videos. Also follow all my social medias over to the link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.